Entrepreneurship can be really hard, and when you're doing it by yourself, trying to navigate the terrain, it can almost be impossible. That's why we created the Entrepreneur Circle. Every episode, you're going to hear from incredible entrepreneurs who are in the same trenches that you are in. And we're going to talk through what's working, what's not working, whether it be in marketing, finance, or anything in between. We're here to talk business and figure out how each of us can rise together. So welcome to the circle. Let's dig in. Hello, everybody. How's it going? I'm Paresa Noble. I'm the founder of Nobler Media. We are an authority marketing agency that specializes in helping thought leaders create the content that grows their business. This is podcasts, books, social media content, etc. And today, I want to pour into the main thing that I have seen work over the last 6-7 years that we've been in business the most. There is one piece of the formula when it comes to building authority in your industry that creates new opportunities to produce content at scale. It's definitely the most effective, and it's something that is relatively easy to do. You just need to be consistent in doing it and really have clarity on who you are and what you're talking about, and that's podcasting. So this webinar is all about podcasting. Guesting on podcasts. So how do I pitch myself to different shows? How do I find the shows? How do I find the point of contact that manages the shows, that makes a decision of who should even be interviewed? How to land on shows. That's number one. That's going to be a big piece of this conversation. And then number two, I'm going to give you the lay of the land on how to launch your own podcast. I'm going to give you the tools, the software. I'm going to tell you everything. This isn't one of those webinars where, I'm like, oh, here's like just a little bit of information and then you have to pay me $25,000 to do the rest of it. No. I don't believe in that. I am an open book. I want to give it to you. I am here to support those of you who have these ideas, who have these thoughts, who want to teach and create culture through your ideas. I am here to advocate for you. I'm here to support you. So I'm going to give you everything I got. The one thing I ask of you is, be open, right? Because the idea of starting a podcast, the idea of going on a journey to do a bunch of interviews, it can feel like a lot unless you are used to that, unless you are used to kind of being in that limelight. It can feel overwhelming. So the ask that I have for you is, as we go through each of these sections and talk through everything, I really want you to open your mind to what's possible for you, for your personal brand, and how that will translate to growth in your business. Because when this is done right, I have seen multiple clients time and time again, 10x, 50x their business, make it on the Inc. 5000 fastest growing companies for multiple years in a row through this method. And we're going to talk through what that method is today. So let me share my screen. Let's dig into the good stuff, shall we? Here we go. Welcome. Podcasting for growth. That's what we're talking about today. How small businesses can create and build authority to generate leads through interviews and original shows. So first I want to take a step back. It helps when you look at the 50,000 foot view of what we're playing with here. When you look at podcasts, you see a medium that people are getting their information, their entertainment, and it's a medium that's growing. So when you look at television, that's one medium. You look at digital marketing, the internet, that's another medium. Television, been around for years, internet, newer, but years. It's where we get all of our information, right? It makes everything possible. When you look at podcasting, it's really just in the last 20 years that it started to catch wind. And the beautiful part about it is that we are still on that hockey puck upward trend. So when we talk about business, it's important to know that timing is everything, and being able to read trends and where the world is going is everything when it comes to entrepreneurship. AI, big deal. We're going to talk about that as well. I think there's so many things that if you open your mind to it, if you lift your head up out of the busy work of your day-to-day as a business owner, and you look at where everything is going and how the pieces are falling into place for society, it gives you clues on where you should pour your energy. Podcasting is one of those things. It is continuously growing. It's on an upward trajectory, and it hasn't even hit what it will hit. It's estimated that there will be hundreds of millions by 2030 people that are adopting and listening to podcasts. Right now it's at an estimated of 210 million. It's probably going to be hitting the billions soon, and it's an international piece. Another thing to mention is that people who are listening to podcasts often tend to be pulling in more money, so it's a higher ticket client. Their average income is about $150,000 a year. And then you have kind of some more subset demographics depending on the shows and on the genres, but there's just such a sticky customer base there. Whereas when you're looking at social media, for instance, it's kind of putting a blindfold on and throwing darts and hoping you get in front of the right people, etc. This one, everyone that's listening has that higher level upper echelon demographic. So if you are in higher ticket sales, if you have a high price point product, this is somewhere that you want to pour your energy to. Or if you just want to cater to an upper echelon clientele, this is something to look at. So it's always helpful to look at this. Now, I will also say the number of listeners for a podcast, it is indeed going up. Yep. But so is the number of podcasts out there. Doesn't it feel like everybody in the world has a damn podcast? Everybody does. Everybody does. If you don't have a podcast, you're kind of sleeping, right? Feels that way. But listen, the question becomes, if everybody has a podcast, what's the point of me trying to start a podcast? How am I supposed to stand out? Okay, this is something that I cannot wait to talk through with you, because yes, you want to stand out. Yes, you want to build out a show that has viewership, that can be monetized with ad spend, and there's so many avenues that you could grow with it. Absolutely. But there are so many other benefits and realities to podcasting that nobody's talking about. It's not just the downloads, the listens, the this, the that. There are so many incredible business development tools that come with podcasting, if you do it right, that can help you grow your business. So let's talk through what we're talking about today. The authority podcast model for small business. This is something unique to our agency, and it's something that we have pioneered. We've been in business for 7 years. Ultimately, it's been based on this concept of what types of content can you create that create an instant authority in somebody's mind. What type of content can we create that creates instant authority in somebody's mind? Legacy content, books, and podcasts. And how do we pair that with the regular digital marketing pieces of the business game in 2025? Social media, email, funnels. These three things working in conjunction together create the authority marketing model. And I'm excited to show you the authority podcasting model specific to what we are doing here today and specific to what has worked for so many of our clients to help them grow their business. Then we'll get into how do we guest on more podcasts, and then, of course, how do we start our own? So let's dig into it. This is the authority podcast model. You look at this model, okay? It's a triangular model. You have podcasts on one end, books, and content marketing. This is the organic marketing engine that positions thought leaders as experts in their field, trusted sources, and ultimately makes them the go-to for not only their clientele, but has other people in the industry looking to them for guidance as well. This is it. If you look at any of the top players in the thought leadership game, they are following this model. They have a podcast. They repurpose that podcast into 1 million marketing pieces. One podcast can turn into a blog, 2 emails, 10 or more backlinks for SEO. I want to come back to this. 4 social media reels, 4 YouTube shorts, 1 long form YouTube video, 1 newsletter, and 1 co-marketing opportunity. That's one conversation. If we're talking about creating content at scale and you really want to grow your business without ad spend and you really want to pour into organic content, this is one of the best ways you could do it, because that one conversation can be repurposed into an entire marketing strategy. Not to mention the authority podcast model when it comes to books. 1 season, if you plan it right, that 1 season could be repurposed into your book, your ebook, your course, 5+ lead magnets. There's so much power in the spoken word. And when you click record and you start talking about a very deep subject, and you're not just surface, nobody likes surface, okay? I want to know the deep stuff. I want to know how to do the thing or how to think about the thing. I want to know how, not what I should do. I want to know how to do it. That is gold. When you look at followers, right? You're looking at how do I get followers? How do I get subscribers? You're getting it through value add. When you are putting content out that actually teaches people something, it teaches them something. So you create value through teaching them something, making them laugh, or relating to them. Those are the three things. That's it. We got to simplify this. That's it. So when I'm talking about podcasting, you're effectively able to hit all three of those, chop up the content, and make it work. Now, I want to come back to this really quick, and we'll dig further into this. But when we talk about backlinks for SEO, a backlink is a link from an external website that's not your own. It's a credible website, so a magazine, whatever. They link your website on their website, and it points back to your site. Backlinks are massive, massive, massive for SEO and for ranking on Google. And they're massive, massive, massive for ranking on ChatGPT. It's called AEO. And there are very specific tactics at play that you can incorporate into your marketing plan so that ChatGPT actually recommends you as a business. The joy of this is that podcasting is the best way to help you rank both on SEO and on Google. Because of backlinks, because of the authority rating that Google gets you. EEA score Google. EAT. Experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. That's the formula Google and ChatGPT are looking at to recommend content. So when you talk about other websites that are pointing to you, that is a huge win. And when I'm publishing one podcast episode every week, and it goes on to Apple Podcasts, it goes on to Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, YouTube, the list goes on, Spotify. That is a lot of backlinks from some really credible websites, isn't it? It's a beautiful thing, I tell you. So that's the authority podcasting model. And the reality of today's world is that bringing in new clients, it comes down to two things: your online presence and your relationships. Who are you online? If you are nobody online, then you pretty much don't even exist. If you are just a storefront without a social media presence, without a Google My Business, then what are you doing? You're not in business. That's just like the mandatory of being in business. And then the relationships that you build. So income, the beautiful reason why we love podcasting. When you start a podcast, or even you guest on a podcast, you're building thought leadership. You're positioning yourself as an expert in your field. You're giving valuable insights. You're making projections. You're just the voice. You're the voice that's leading your industry. It helps you create legacy content. So unlike a social media post where you post it and then it just gets buried, people don't see it on their feed anymore. Podcasts, you do it and it lives on. That episode continues working for you for years down the line. So even if you just do one season, but it's super valuable, this is something that stays on the platform. It's something that comes up in searches if you do it right. And it's very effective to live on beyond just today. Selective networking. This is where I share that it's way more than the downloads. It's way more than how many subscribers you have, how many followers you have. Having a podcast opens the door for you to sit down with some of the most brilliant people that you wouldn't otherwise have access to unless you were interviewing them on a show. It allows you to connect with industry leaders and even potential clients. So when we sit down and look at what kind of show does a client want to start with us, well, we're looking first, what's our goal? Are we looking to bring on new business? Usually that's 100% the reason. If that's the case, then we're looking for the ideal power partners that could be awesome referrals to the business to come on as a guest, or we're looking at amazing clients that could come on the show and be a guest. And when we do this, it opens the door for the person to build the relationship. We build out an entire nurturing campaign after the interview, and it becomes a prospecting tool. Amazing. Amazing. The power here is so fun and it's so cool. And I think there's something to be said about building relationships with people that come onto your show. And then last but not least, boost SEO and authority. This one I already nerded out about, but it increases your digital footprint massively, making ChatGPT able to discover you, Google to be able to discover you, and your clients. When they search you, you will be the one that pops up if you stay consistent at this. That is why we love podcasting. Now, I want to give you a high level of why, right? Like this is just one of our clients. He's actually the one that I built my entire agency around and the entire authority marketing model around. Eric Kimberling, he's the CEO, founder of an amazing digital transformation consulting company. They're called Third Stage Consulting. And when I first started working with him, I was doing freelance work. I started to, make some social media posts for him. I started to write some blogs for him. At the time, it was a very foreign topic because it was also techie. It's about ERP systems and, project management, processes, technology. It was complex. So I'm over here learning tricks of the trade, right? I'm producing content for him. He's regularly filming videos, putting them on YouTube, I'm helping him write his scripts, etc. Well, that lasted probably about maybe a year when he found out that I was writing my father's memoir. My dad has an amazing story. He was the first book that I wrote because we really wanted to capture his story. Super cool. You guys should go buy it. It's called The Flight. It's awesome. It's on Amazon. And when he heard that, he asked me to write his book because, well, hey, you've been ghostwriting some blogs for me. Why not? Will you write this book? And then from that, it's taking all of his ideas. It's taking everything he's put out on YouTube videos, taking his spoken word and repurposing it into different mediums, video and blogs, and now a book. Then after we started doing that, we launched 2 podcasts for his firm. One was more so around digital transformation when we brought in talent. She had an awesome accent and I'd write her a script and she would record the show. And then I ended up launching one with him as well. You can see our little thumbnail up at the top. It's called Transformation Ground Control. It's still going today. And from conceptualizing each show to editing, publishing, etc., this was the very first podcast that I truly worked on. And it has grown so much. He now is continuously speaking at different events. He hosts his own annual conference for digital transformation experts. He has had his company in the Inc. 5000 fastest growing companies for multiple years in a row. And he has over 350,000, probably more subscribers across all his platforms. And this has become a steady lead machine for Eric's company. I don't work with them anymore. They're doing amazing stuff now. Their team they've grown. But now it's just they have really solid lead magnets that they put in all of the YouTube videos. They put it in all the podcast descriptions. People go download the lead magnet, they go into an email sequence, and then the sales team reaches out to them if they take certain actions. And it's become this beautiful organic machine of business development. When you take the authority marketing model and you repurpose it, different content, it helps you create the content at scale without burning out. It helps you get more leads that are actually qualified because they're watching your content. They know what you do. And it just works. It works when you do it right. And that's what we've built for all of our clients. This is something that we're working toward for all of our clients is how can we repurpose the content to build this strong engine for you? And that's ultimately what we're going to dig into here. So let's dig into the next segment. So how do we guest on more podcasts? Now, if podcasting is something that's interesting to you, but you're not all in on, I want to start my own show, then this is where you want to start. Start looking for shows to guest on, okay? You're going to look at the benefits of being a guest on somebody's show. It goes without saying, it's very beneficial. If you're a guest on a show, it helps you build instant credibility, right? You're being interviewed because you're a trusted expert in your field. Absolutely. You have very targeted exposure. So this is a beautiful thing because when you get on somebody's podcast, especially a larger podcast, that person has audience that mirrors your audience. You are getting in front of a very highly engaged group of people that already align with your niche. And there's not a lot of places that promise that. There's not a lot of marketing opportunities that promise that. This is one of those opportunities. So that is one of the most valuable pieces to this puzzle. Authority building, it becomes legacy content. It lives there. If you go on ChatGPT and you've been on a couple different podcasts and you say, hey, who's Paresa Noble? You could go look me up right now. It's going to pull up the shows that I've guested on. She's been on the Max Web podcast. I think there's so much to be said when it comes to being recognized on Google and on ChatGPT through podcasting. This is a big one. Lead generation. Not only does it allow you to get in front of the audience, but there's been multiple times when I sit down on someone else's show and they are interviewing me about my business, my mindset, how I've done it, and then they become clients. Beautiful thing. Depends on your line of work, but it works because they get to know you on a personal level. They get to understand who you are, how you operate, what you do, and it could become more than you could ever imagine. could be one of my biggest deals that I landed through this process. Networking opportunities, building the relationships, right? We've talked about this a lot. Search engine boost, backlinks. If you're guesting on shows, you need to make sure that they're linking you in the description. So provide your website, provide your Instagram handle, etc., so that those things can register on the technical side behind the scenes. One interview can be turned into social media clips, blogs, email campaigns. This is absolutely true. I think there's some sticky stuff with the content repurposing when you're doing guesting because you cannot have full autonomy in how the content is used. You have to request the raw files if you really do want to chop up your own social media clips. There's a lot of shows. For example, on my show, I'm giving every guest a social media clips because I want them to share the show. So some shows will do that, but others may not. So that's something you just have to talk through with the host. And long-term reach. It lives on forever, attracting new listeners for years to come. You do it once, it goes on. So how do we become a guest expert? I am going to give you a little PR lesson right now. So public relations, it comes down to how are you positioning yourself? Number one, I would build a media kit, and I'm going to tell you how to do that. I have a whole thing for you on how to build a media kit. Then we're going to find the podcast to guest on using AI. Beautiful AI. I can't wait for this. You're going to pitch with your value, not just your credentials. This is huge. What value are you adding to the show? Not, oh, here's all the things that I've done. I'm super cool. You should let me be on your show. No, it's about value. And then how do you maximize it? How do you maximize that opportunity and make sure you expand the reach as far as it could go? So let's do the media kit first. This QR code takes you to our media kit guide. I'm going to do a high level right now of what a media kit should include. But if you scan this QR code, you will see, if you're watching on video right now, there's some people who are just listening, in which case we'll put the link in the description. Scan this. All you're going to do is give your email and we will send you the media kit immediately. And it gives you the breakdown step by step of what each page of your media kit should have. So to start, it looks like a deck. It looks like a presentation. Okay. Just like the one that I'm running through right now. So you can build it on Canva. You can build it on PowerPoint. You can build it on Google Slides. Ultimately, this is like a flip book of who you are. It will start with the cover, your headshot, what you're about, etc. The next page, it'll go into a professional bio, a little more about you, a few more headshots. The next page, it'll go into your mission overview. So your mission overview, what is it that you as a human are going to bring to the table? And here's the thing. You want to make this broad because obviously niche down to the point of your value add, but you still want this to be broad where you can give the presentation to one type of client and kind of adjust it to give it to another type of client. I don't want you to get too granular on the different types of audiences and clients that you'll be talking to or serving through your interviews. I want you to keep it more broad. So when you talk about your mission overview, zoom out and see overall, what am I here to do to serve this community? That's what you should be listing on there. And then social proof, I'm jumping ahead here, but past interviews is a big social proof piece. And this is something that straight out the gate you want to showcase. You're not just some random Joe Schmo that's out here trying to land interviews. You know what you're doing, you know what you're talking about, and you have the resources to prove it. Okay, so then after you do that first segment, you go into the PR angles and story highlights. So this is where you can get a little more granular in who you really want to talk to and what your message is to people. So focus in on your zone of genius. For me, for instance, I could probably turn what we did for Eric into a PR angle. How a young entrepreneur is turning coaching and consulting businesses into a content powerhouse. That's a PR angle, and that is my zone of genius, and that can be applied to consultants and coaches, but also to many other businesses. How can I take what I do and kind of turn it into a headline or story? And then to reiterate the social proof element, Google reviews, article quotes, press coverage. And then last but not least, who is your audience and how are you serving them? Highlight the outcomes you've created for others. Showcase that you know what you're doing. This is all stuff that you literally are building out a deck for yourself. And then the deck is what goes on to be shared with the podcast. So For those of you who have your computers, I want you to take a second and copy this prompt, okay? We're going to copy this prompt. We're going to go drop it into ChatGPT. So let's see. I'm going to just I copied and pasted that prompt. And this is just a template. So as an expert podcasting agent who helps book stuff, we're going to kind of update this to placing business leaders on top tier podcasts. Your goal is to find a perfect platform for my personal brand. Let's just say I'm a professional female business coach and my niche is helping female founders secure their first round of funding. Okay. So whatever you do, this is where you update it and you say, I want to help XYZ do ABC. Okay. Please generate a curated list of 15 shows and give them to me. Okay. The rest of the prompt is there. You click send. Let's see what it comes up with. Okay. It's searching for podcasts for female entrepreneurs. And here we are. 15 podcasts that strongly align with your niche. And it gives you everything you need from the name to who is the founder or the host. It gives you how to pitch. So they have a Be a Guest application. So this is all part of the search. Now, I'm going to come back to my presentation. I have one more prompt here for you guys. If you take this second prompt, now list more options where you can find the direct contact information of the show host for me to get in touch with. It's going to be able to pull email addresses for some of them. Now it's thinking, it's going to pull the information. So it's going to give this to you and you're going to get email addresses. You're going to get information. All you will have to do is reach out to either the contact that it is able to find. I'm reading this as I'm talking to you. Or you just go to the link that it pulls, because ultimately there's different avenues to get on shows. You have to find the right avenue. So this is a tool for you to jump in and really take advantage of your resources, specifically with AI, and find the shows, find the contact information for the people who are running the show. So here's the prompts. We can include these in the follow-up to this, but I think it's an exercise for you to see what's possible, right? You aren't going to have to sit here and do 10 hours of research to find the right shows, because you have different people who can come do it. Okay. All right. So pitch yourself with value, not just credentials. What's in it for me mentality. Talk about what the podcast host audience will walk away with after hearing from you. How will you make them get what they want? This is a big thing, and this is just in life. In everything you do, in marketing, in sales, in talking to people, you need to pour into the what's in it for me mentality. I'm sure this is something that you've heard before, but it's very true when it comes to pitching yourself on a podcast. You want to say, my insights will help your audience get to where they want to go 10 times faster because of X, Y, Z. My insights will give the tools and resources to your clients and to your audience to hit 100K by the end of this year. So you want to make, you don't want to promise the world, right? But you want to showcase what you've done for others and say, hey, my insight and my knowledge can do that for your audience. So you probably want me on your show. That's how you want to position yourself. You're going to use your media kit, and then you're going to share freebies that you'll give to their audience. So if you don't have a lead magnet, that's something that you want to pour into. A lead magnet is some amazing resource like an ebook or a how-to document or a trends report for what's coming in 2026. Those are lead magnets that people have to give their email address in order to get the data. So like my media kit resource, that was a lead magnet. Yeah, I do want your email addresses because I want to continuously share content with you guys and help you. That's the goal. You're not trying to be spammy, right? You want to add resources for people. So long story short, these 3 things are how you're going to pitch yourself. If it's an email, you're going to write it out in this way and say, hey, put the name of the person. I'm Paresa Noble. I am a 12-time best-selling ghostwriter, and I'm the owner of Nobler Media. Offer the value. I have insights into how you can really launch a podcast in a way that drives engagement and optimizes for business development for people in the coaching and consulting space. I've done this for 5 big name keynote speakers, and we're continuing to do it for many companies around the Colorado area. I'm happy to share like how I do this for people. If this is valuable to your audience, let's plan a time for me to come on your show. Please see the attached for my media kit. Okay. So it's just a matter of, this is how you pitch yourself. If you are filling out an application, then they are essentially going to open up like a field for you to fill this in, to which case you'd want to have that be the structure as well. And then once you land a spot, you're going to want to really make sure that the host has everything they need, or the producer has everything they need. So make sure you send all the links to your lead magnets, to your websites, to your freebies. Ask them if you're able to repurpose the content. Ask them if you can pull the transcript, if you can make an email about it. Ask them for a social media clip or for the raw files so you can make your own social media content. But try to squeeze the juice out of the opportunity as much as you can, because this is a big opportunity if you get on a podcast. And then co-market. If there's an opportunity to receive the files, right? Some hosts may not do it, but if they will share the files with you, tell them that you will market their show and market their business if they can do it for you as well. I think there's so much to be done when you are co-marketing with another person who has a shared audience and who has a following. When you guys can promote each other to each other's audience, that's where true growth sticks and sustains. So keep that in mind. Remember this as you go about your day today. The ideas that are on your heart for a reason. Do not ignore them. Tune into them. Tap in, lean in, understand them, and pursue them. If not you, then who? If this episode was helpful to you in any way, please like, share, comment, subscribe. It does wonders for our efforts, and it helps us to continue our mission of inspiring entrepreneurs and giving them the resources and the perspective we all need to take it to the next level. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Paresa Noble, and we'll catch you next time.